Hey guys, welcome back. Doing something a little bit different here today. I wanted to go ahead and start documenting the different film franchises I have in my collection, and I figured I'd go ahead and start with the Halloween franchise because it is October, it is the Halloween season. So, old company, I wish they were still around as they did great releases. It was Anchor Bay. This is the DVD of Halloween. This is the limited edition with the lenticular cover. I'll do an insert of a better shot so you can see that lenticular cover in action without the glare. There you can see Anchor Bay. Used to be based out of Troy, Michigan, which is the city that I currently work in, right down the street. I wish they were still a thing because they did really, really, really nice work. And this just kind of shows how good their old editions used to be. Very comprehensive, very good. So there's the upside down disc, Halloween, the THX certified DVD. But the reason I have this here is because of this second disc in the collection is the Halloween television cut. Standard definition DVD. Only other way I know how to get this is to get the 15 disc set from Scream Factory, which is now out of print and very expensive. But in that set, it is not a Blu-ray. It is also a DVD. It is also in standard definition. I don't know if it's identical as to this one, but I can't imagine it being much better because it is still just a DVD. So until there's a better edition of the television cut, this stays in the collection. So again, how many times can you buy the same film on different formats? I've kind of pre-rigged this one here, but this is the Halloween Blu-ray digibook or media book, whatever you want to call it. Kind of a little bit of an embossed cover there. Basically a stark black, and the disc mirrors the artwork on the book itself. I got this done like this because it's got one of those terrible cardboard sleeves for the disc, and the back of the disc is fingerprinted to hell. But this is one of those things I got relatively inexpensive on eBay, and I bought it mainly because it was just a different package. There's a new transfer on this one, but there's your poster. Again, that artwork we're very familiar with. And then the book itself just has some different stills from the film and some liner notes. Not a very comprehensive digibook. I've seen ones, of course I have ones that are much, much bigger than this, but it's a cool piece for the collection. Mainly again, bought it for the packaging itself rather than the disc. This is a newer transfer, but not the newest, because that is on here, and I believe this is a different transfer on the Blu-ray than the digibook. I'm not sure if it is, but it may be. But the biggest thing with this, we're not talking about Blu-ray, this is the 4K edition of Halloween. So again, we have that very classic, very familiar, old school Halloween poster art, which we see again on the cover. There is no alternate art included on this. Very familiar shot on the back. And again, very familiar cover art here on the discs. So again, I'm not sure about this Blu-ray, if it's the same transfer as the digibook, but the 4K, of course, is what this one's all about, the 4K HDR. It's like watching a movie for the first time all over again. So really nice editions here of Halloween. I've only got 4 or 5 different discs with the same movie on it, except the television cut is a different cut, so technically it's a little bit different, right? So the next thing here is the Halloween 2 Steelbook. Love this art style here on these Scream Factory editions. Kind of got this range, hopefully you can see it. Halloween 2 on Blu-ray up front, and then Halloween 2 on DVD in the back, again, the theatrical edition. So again, another version shot for TV because it would have been edited for time or content. Really nice edition. This is a 4K transfer, so it's a little bit of an upgrade from the standard Scream Factory edition, and I do believe that was only released in the Steelbook. These are limited to 10,000 pieces. But I do think you can still find them for the retail price, so maybe around $30 or so. Totally worth it. One of the better sequels just in general, and I guess one of the best Halloween sequels, but one of the better horror sequels in general, and it looks fantastic. They did a great job on this Blu-ray here, and of course the DVD is a standard definition, which I guess you really couldn't have inserted those or clean those up, and then maybe they could have inserted those into the HD cut, but it would have looked really weird. So HD for the theatrical cut and standard definition for the TV cut, just like the first film. So now we're going into weird territory here in Halloween 3, because of course Michael Myers is not in this film. Long story short, everyone probably says this, but this is the diversion that John Carpenter took with the series. He wanted to do a different Halloween themed film every year, not just retread Michael Myers in every film. So we got Halloween 3, the Season of the Witch. That's why Michael Myers is not in this. Does not take place in that universe, because within this film they show Halloween on TV. So you can see this is limited to 10,000 pieces. On its own, though, it's just it is a good movie. They probably could have just called it Season of the Witch as opposed to Halloween 3, because that throws people off. I remember back in the 90s when I was really getting into horror films, everyone hated this because they're like, oh, Michael Myers isn't in it. But as a horror film itself, it is quite good, worth the watch. Again, I haven't opened this particular one up yet, but it is a 4K scan, so if it looks anything like the other version of Halloween 2, then I'm sure it looks fantastic. Scream Factory always does a really good job, and the artwork is great as well. It's all the J card in the back here, so you can't see the back, but nice addition. I believe these are just as readily available as the Halloween 2 steelbooks are. So, gonna go to my 10-disc set. I didn't splurge for the 15-disc set. And they're both out of print now. This was in print as of maybe a year and a half ago, but now both the 10-disc and 15-disc sets are out of print. So you had to search for the films, either pay for the sets or search for them on their own. So here we go. Here's Halloween again. And again, I don't know if this Blu-ray is any different than the other two that I've got, so potentially there's 3 different transfers of the same film in HD. Halloween 2, Halloween 3, which we just went over. And Halloween 4 and Halloween 5. This is the replacement disc, so I know this is the most recent version of the set. There were some audio sync issues with the original version of Halloween 4 the Scream Factory did. This one is the corrected disc. You can tell because the artwork is a little bit different than the stark black of the other one. So Halloween 4, Halloween 5 were, of course, the sequels that came out in the 80s. Halloween 4 is the better of the two, and again, one of the better Halloween sequels in my opinion. Halloween 5 is a complete train wreck and a piece of garbage. I tried to watch it a bunch of times and tried to appreciate it, I just never could. Halloween 5 is awful, and it introduces us to the complete cluster that came with the part 6, so it kind of started that whole story of the Thorn cult in part 6. Which we'll get to now. So here's the second set here of the 10-disc set. So there's Halloween 6, and I'll stop there for a second. Disc is upside down, but this is the Curse of Michael Myers. This is the theatrical cut of Halloween 6. So back in the day, it was rumored that there was a producer's cut of Halloween 6, and everyone in the tape trading community went nuts, and it surfaced, and everyone wanted a copy of it because they said it was so much better than the theatrical cut, and it was a work print. It was really terrible quality, and the movie was maybe a little bit better in pieces, but overall just as bad because that film was just an unsalvageable piece of crap. But here is the producer's cut officially released, which blows my mind because this was one thing that was never supposed to have come out. The producers always said it's never coming out. You're going to stick with the theatrical cut, and if you wanted the other one, you had to go and find the bootleg. But here it is. This is the producer's cut of Halloween on Blu-ray of all things. It just blew my mind when I saw this was a thing. So not only do I have the television cuts of parts 1 and 2, but the theatrical and the producer cut of part 6. So nothing to really boast about because either version is very good. I guess the ultimate cut would be taking the best from both and kind of putting them together. But again, the movie is an unmitigated disaster. So there is Halloween H2O, of course, the return of Jamie Lee Curtis to the franchise, Halloween Resurrection Part 8, which I have actually not watched yet, and I really don't care to because I've heard it is a complete piece of garbage. I know the premise, so in 7, H2O basically ignores 4, 5, and 6, where the canon is now 1 and 2 for this particular film. And then so 1, 2, 7, and 8 are in their own chronology. where 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 have been totally dismantled and don't, or I guess 1 and 2 do, but 4, 5, and 6 don't matter anymore. And it's a completely new tangent on the storyline in Halloween. And part 8, I usually tell people watch the film, see what you think about it, but I don't know, it's a weird early 2000s like streaming social media thing where Michael Myers is in a house that's being webcast and Busta Rhymes is in it for some reason, and it just looks terrible. But last 2 here are Rob Zombie's Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and these are the director's cuts of both films. I did a pickup video for last month and talked about these briefly. I really actually enjoyed both of these quite a bit. I think they both get a bad rap, especially part 2. I'm going to give the director's cuts a watch here soon. I watched the theatrical versions recently, and I just had an appreciation for them. I don't know what the deal was, but I actually enjoyed them quite a bit. Again, if you haven't watched them, or if you haven't watched them in a while, maybe give them a rewatch. I enjoy them quite a bit. I know there are differences on the director's cut. I don't really know which one is the superior version, but this is the 10-disc set for Halloween. So your complete collection is there. You lack the theatrical cuts of 1 and 2, and you don't get the producer's cut of part 6. But for all intents and purposes, this is the complete collection of Halloween. But it's not, because since this has come out, there's been another film. Before we get into that, though, again, this is the theatrical versions of Rob Zombie's Halloween and Halloween 2. This is a Canadian release. You can only get the theatrical cut on this particular release, at least in Region A. This is the only way that I know how to get it. I got this from Amazon. It's like $10. 1 disc, both films on it. Despite being on 1 disc, they both look pretty good. Without going into the details, again, I enjoyed both of these quite a bit. It's just Rob Zombie's take on the films. People seem to hate it for some reason. I actually found them both to be pretty enjoyable. So another break in lineage. So we've got a remake and a sequel to the remake, which is a completely separate storyline. So we have Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween 4, 5, 6. And then we have 1 and 2, 7 and 8 are in their own chronology. And of course, last year we had the Halloween 2018. So Halloween is a sequel to Halloween, which ignores Halloween 2. So it creates a brand new chronology where Halloween 1978 happened, and then Halloween 2018 happened. So the timeline of these films is a little confusing, but this is the 4K and Blu-ray release. The same as the non-steelbook version, just in a steelbook. These are out right now. It's October 2019. These are out at Best Buy right now for $20. I prefer this over the original pop art version they had. But that's it for my Halloween collection. So I've got every version that's ever been released, at least in Region A. Halloween 1, Halloween 1 TV cut, Halloween 2, Halloween 2 TV cut, 3, 4, 5, the theatrical cut of 6, the producer's cut of 6, 7, 8, and then Rob Zombie's 1 and 2 in director's cut and theatrical cut versions. So I've got literally the complete collection of Halloween in my collection. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a very strong slasher series. I'm a big fan of almost all of them. Again, I think 5 and 6 are just awful. 8 I haven't seen yet, so I won't form an opinion on 8 because I have not seen it. I've heard it's really bad. And then, of course, Rob Zombie's ones, which everyone seems to hate, but I actually seem to kind of love. So hope to do some more of these here, go over some of the other collections in my collection or other franchises in my collection. So there you go. There is the complete collection of Halloween. All right, so they are on the shelf. Obsessive Compulsive much? There's the Anchor Bay version, there's the Blu-ray, there's the 4K, there's 2, 3 in the whole series, and then the producer's cut, the zombie ones, and then the 2018 Steelbook. So there they are on the shelf. All of the Halloween films right in a row.